All right, let's take a look at comparing decimals. This is a skill that we know how to do pretty well at this point, but I think it's very important for us to think critically when we look at multiple choice questions having to do with comparing decimals. Let's read the question. Which number is between 45 and 2/10 and 45 and 3/10? So I need to figure out a number that on a number line, if this were 45 and this was 45 and 3/10, I'm looking for a number that would come on this number line in the middle, somewhere between 45 and 2/10 and 45 and 3/10. So let's take a look at something to see which one of these answer choices is more than 45 and 2/10 and less than 45 and 3/10. Let's tackle each of these in turn. If I were to compare 45 and 2/10 with answer choice A, I see that answer choice A is actually less than less than 45 and 2/10. This doesn't make sense because we know that we need this answer to be more than 45 and 2/10. Let's take a look at answer choice B. 45 and 3/100. The same thing applies here. When we compare these two numbers from left to right, we see that 45 and 2/10 is the bigger one. So this answer choice is not greater than 45 and 2/10 as it must be. Now let's take a look at answer choice D. Answer choice D is 45 and 3/10. And this one doesn't even require comparing. 45 and 3/10 is not in between these two numbers. 45 and 3/10 is one of the numbers. So this one doesn't make sense. We're looking for a number that falls in the middle. Not here or less, and not here or less, or more, but rather in between, in the middle. Now we have answer choice C remaining, so answer choice C appears to be the correct answer. But let's compare 45 and 2/10 and 45 and 23/100, which is answer choice C. What we needed a number that is bigger than 45 and 2/10, but smaller than 45 and 3/10. When we compare from left to right, 4 and 4 are the same, 5 and 5 are the same, 2 and 2 are the same, but 3 is bigger. So this number is, in fact, greater than 45 and 2/10. This puts 45 and 23/100 somewhere about here on the number line, which tells us that it does, in fact, fall between those two numbers, making answer choice C the correct one. Now try this question on your own. Which grade had the highest test scores? To find the highest, we need to compare each of these numbers. Compare the numbers and then return to the video. Pause the video now. Welcome back. When we compare each of these numbers, we have to line up the decimal points. We know that lining up the decimal points, one on top of the other, is the most important thing we can do to make sure that we get problems like these correct without making any goofy mistakes. As I fill these in next to the decimals, I make sure that ones is lined up with ones, tens is lined up with tens. Remember, ones and tens. I also make sure that tenths is lined up with tenths. Hundredths is lined up with hundredths. And any thousandths will be lined up with thousands. All right, so we fill in any gaps with placeholders here, and I've got to make sure I have all the numbers. I have this number, I have this number, I have this number. Now I need to fill in this number. And last I need to fill in this number, 89 and 78 thousandths. So here I'm going to put a bunch of placeholder zeros in this thousandths place to make sure that everything is lined up appropriately. The question asks which grade had the highest test scores. So I'm looking for the largest number here. I compare from left to right. These numbers don't tell me anything because they're all 8. The ones place don't tell me anything because they're all 9s. The tenths place is where I find my answer. I'm comparing 0 to 9 to 1 to 2 to 0. Of those numbers, the biggest one is 89 and 9/10, which was in the 4th grade. This means that 4th grade had the highest test scores overall. Answer choice C. Don't forget your decimal place value. Ones, tens, hundredths. Then behind the decimal point is tenths with the THS, hundredths with the THS, and thousands.